Hi there, so this is a video on how to change the harness height on the Maxi Cosi Ruby and the Maxi Cosi Tobi Group 1 forward facing child car seats. The two seats are actually very similar. The main difference is that the Maxi Cosi Tobi has an additional seatbelt tensioner on the base of the seat, which helps to get a tighter seatbelt fit. It also has different lock-offs at the top of the seat. So on the Ruby it's a single lock-off, or on the Tobi it's a double. And the Tobi's got a sprung harness as well. So when you click the buckle open, the harness opens up so you can put the child in. Whereas the Ruby's got these little grey things that you can pop the harness in to keep it out of the way. Obviously the Ruby's a little bit cheaper than the Tobi as well, by anywhere between sort of £60 and £80 cheaper. So, but yeah, both very good car seats. One of the things I find on this seat, I check car seats a lot, and whenever I check a Tobi or Ruby, I'm happily going to put a fiver on it that the straps are not at the right height, because yeah, people just don't seem to realise that this goes up. So what I'm going to do, also it can be quite difficult to move as well if you're not sure how to do it. So what I'm going to show you to do is on the Ruby, which is the one I've got here, is how to do that. So on either seat or on any car seat where you're going to move the harness up in height, you need to lengthen the harness. So obviously on the Ruby we have to press the button and pull that out. On the Tobi it does it itself. You don't have to unbuckle the harness if you don't want to. Obviously on the Tobi you have to unbuckle the harness, otherwise it won't come loose. Next thing you need to do is actually pop your hands under the straps here. Okay, you see that? So it's just so it's underneath the headrest. What you're going to be doing with this hand is pushing the headrest up. With this hand, on the grey bit here, just pull the headrest forward. Now not too far forward, you don't want to release any springs or anything, but pulling it forward disengages it from the lock at the back. And then with this hand you're pulling, and with this hand you're pushing, and you're just pushing upwards. There we go. I actually find it easier to pull with my right hand, and there's lots of different heights. To put it down, you just need to wiggle it down and then just make sure the headrest locks into place. Like I said, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. There we go. So that's the bottom position, and then you've got various different heights. Now it goes really, really high as well, which is great. So your child can stay in this seat by height until their eyes are level with the top of the seat shell. Now that's this bit here, this plastic bit. So once your child's eyes are level with that, so it's about midway through the headrest, that's when it's outgrown by height. Any more than that, you'll find as well that the straps won't fit them anymore. The ideal height for the straps, you need the straps level with or just above your child's shoulders. So when they're forward facing, the straps shouldn't be below the child's shoulders. What you'll find on the Tobi is that you may have to go one above at all times, just because the big springs with the sprung harness can sometimes make it uncomfortable. But yeah, so say my hand is your child's shoulders, so where those straps are level with there, you want the straps coming straight out and down across their chest. Now, if you can't get them level with because they're different heights, then they can come from just above. They shouldn't be around their ears though, it should just be literally just above the shoulders. In terms of tension, I mean, harness tension, a slack harness is one of the biggest errors. 70% of children are not properly strapped into their car seat, and the biggest culprit is a loose harness. Now, having the harness a little bit baggy on your child may not seem like such an issue. However, if you had a crash and you have got a loose harness, your child can be ejected from the seat completely. So literally just up and over. So with the harness, the way I always remember this, so what I bear in mind with the harness, is that this is your child's seatbelt, and without this being on properly, it's not going to do its job. So if you imagined if your seatbelt in the car didn't lock on impact, so adult seatbelts are tension on impact. So, and you imagine that seatbelt didn't tension when you had an impact, so you just sort of keep travelling forward. If your child's harness is too loose, that's what's going to happen. So harnesses are pre-tensioned restraints, and what you need to do is you need to pull it tight enough. So first thing I do, sorry, just skip back one, is make sure they're not sitting on the hip straps, because if these hip straps are baggy, you can have it as tight as you want up here, but it's always going to work loose. So when your child sat in the seat, pull at the top of the buckle there, and no, this is a really poor angle, and you want to just pull up, so just make sure that those straps are really snug around the hips. Then once you've got this up here, you want to pull the harness, and you want it tight enough so that you can literally just slip 2 fingers completely flat between the harness and your child at collarbone level. Now what you don't want to be able to do is wiggle your fingers about. A lot of people think it needs to be like a dog collar where you need 2 fingers room. That's wrong. You need it firm. So you need, if say, you know, the child's shoulders were there and that's the harness, you need that firm so you can't wiggle your fingers about. The other way to test is with the pinch test. So if I loosen this off a little bit, now with the pinch test, as you can see here, I don't know if you can see that, and I can fold the harness completely. See, I can pinch the harness together that way. So it's not going that way, it's going top to bottom. Now if that harness is tight enough, I can't do that, and that's another great way of telling if your harness is perfectly tight enough, which I can't pinch them because they're nice and firm. So yeah, really, really important that the harness is at the correct tension for your child. Anyway, hope you found that helpful. Thanks now.